What's up, boys and boys? It's Aaron. First of all, I want to sincerely apologize for my absence last week. I have an impacted wisdom tooth that I've not been able to take care of because I have no insurance. So, needless to say, I haven't been doing a whole lot of talking, so the video would not have made sense. Last week's topic was the LGBT community and their relation to the T community. I think the biggest point that I want to make in this video is that the LGBT community needs to be educated, far more educated than they are about trans issues. It's been my experience that most people in the LGBT community really are just as ignorant, and not to say willfully ignorant, but just as ignorant to trans issues and trans rights issues, just as any other group of cisgender people. It's not really in the media in a good light at all. Population as a whole is really just uneducated about our struggles and what we go through. And I found, that a lot of gay people are the worst offenders of, jokes aimed at transgender people and especially transgender women. And the misconceptions in general that go along with people's ideas of the trans community. I heard the argument from the rest of the community saying that, we're betraying our genders and things like that, and it's really just clearly a lack of education. And I mean, a big problem with getting laws and protections passed for trans people is that the general population thinks we're such a small group that it really doesn't matter. It's really not a big deal. And that's just not the case. There was a politician in Florida who was quoted as saying that he didn't think trans people need any protections if they even exist. And that's ridiculous. I mean, I found out today, actually, that there are records of about 3,000 trans people just in the Tampa Bay area of Florida where I live. Where are they? I mean, we obviously exist in great numbers, and we obviously all have these struggles, these similar issues that we have to deal with when it comes to protections and the way the law stands right now. And the simple issue is that people just don't know. People are just not aware of the way things are and of who we are and the fact that we do exist and that we do walk among, the rest of the world and contribute to society and pay our taxes just like everybody else. And I think really the way to breach that gap is that we, as trans people, have a responsibility to our community to get involved. In order for the LGBT side of the spectrum to understand our struggles and understand the similarities between our struggles and theirs, and give us that inclusion that we need, and get behind our rights and embrace us as part of the community, in order for them to do that, for them to understand all of that, we as trans people need to make ourselves known. We need to get active in our communities. Even if it's just go to your local support group, get involved, in events that reach out to the LGBT community. We had gotten in touch with a support group in Jersey that was a really great resource and connected us to a lot of great things. And the support group we go to here has connected us to a fantastic, network of resources. We have Transgender Forge here in Florida is an organization that works pretty aggressively toward trans rights. And by getting involved with our support group, we were able to make those connections. And now, we plan to get involved in a lot more volunteer work with the trans community in our area. That's where it starts, with those local communities, those local organizations and committees and whatnot. Find your local LGBT center and find out how to get involved, even if it's just showing up to a support group just to help others who are in a situation you've been in before. There are a lot of support groups will do events that reach out to the LGBT community to educate about what we go through and what our rights struggle is right now. Plain and simple, we need more faces behind the trans rights movement. And we need to make it known that we do exist, that we do need these protections just like any other group, in order to bridge the gap of that lack of education between our community and the LGBT community, we need to be there to educate them. Unfortunately, society at large is not doing it for us right now. It's not in the, we're not in the media in a positive light. We're not something that's talked about in schools. We're not something that's talked about in the workplace. It's not something that people come across in their daily lives. And so they think it doesn't really exist, or it's not really a big deal, or, it's just such a small group of people that it's not a big problem. And that's really, really not the case. It blows my mind to hear that there are 3,000 trans people in the Tampa Bay area, and maybe 15 to 20 guys show up to our FTM support group. About the same number show up to the MTF support group. 40 to 50 people out of 3,000, we need to be more involved in that. And I think that's what it's going to take to be able to bring that education and awareness to the rest of the community, and to help us be more included in those rights struggles, and more embraced as part of the LGBT acronym. People need to be aware, and we've got to be there to make them aware. We need more faces and more support, as much support as possible. And if you're at all able to get out and go to your local support group, or go to an event, or go to meetings that have to do with, the issues for trans people in your community, if there's anything like that around you, take advantage of that privilege. Not only is it a great way to meet people, but you could potentially really have a hand in helping things move forward for the trans community. And I think it's really important, and I think it's our responsibility to give back. There are trans people who have come before us who have been fighting tooth and nail for us to have the rights we do have. It starts with individuals. It starts with individuals in the community getting together and deciding, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make things better for us. So that's my piece for last week's topic. I'm going to make another video on this week's topic, which was dysphoria. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.